Dear student, today I will be discuss the role of women of the imperial household in the Mughal Empire and the relations and attitudes related from neighboring countries of the subcontinent. The term harem is frequently used to refer to the domestic world of the Mughals. It originates in the Persian word haram, meaning a sacred place. The Mughal household consisted of the emperor's wives and his near and distant relatives and female servants and slaves. Polygamy was practiced widely in the Indian subcontinent, especially among the ruling groups, both for the Rajput clans as well as the Mughals. Marriage was a way of cementing political relationship and forging alliance. The gift of territory was often accompanied by the gift of a daughter in marriage. This ensured a continuing hierarchical relationship between ruling groups. It was through the link of marriage and the relationship that developed as a result that the Mughals were able to form a vast kingship network. In the Mughal household, a distinction was maintained between wives who came from royal families known as Begum and other wives, Agahaj, who were not of noble birth. The Begums married after receiving huge amount of cash and valuables as a dowry known as mahar, naturally received a higher status and greater attention from their husbands than did Agahaj. The Agaha and Agacha could rise to the position of a Begum depending on the husband's will and provided that he did not already have four wives. Love and motherhood played important roles in elevating such women to the status of legally wedded wives. Apart from wives, numerous male and female slaves populated the Mughal household. Lot of male and female slaves were included in the Mughal household. Different types of tasks were assigned to the slaves. After Nur Jahan, Mughal queens and princes started to control the important financial resources. Jahan Ara and Roshan Ara, both were the daughters of Shah Jahan, entertained with an annual income equal to the Mansabdars. Jahan Ara used to get the revenue from the city of Surat, which was port city and center of overseas trade. Having control over resources, important women of the Mughal household built many buildings and gardens. The bazaar of Chandni Chowk was the palpited center of Shahjahanabad. It was designed by Jahan Ara. Gulbadan Begum was the daughter of Babur. She wrote Humayunama, which gives us a glimpse into the domestic world of the Mughals. She could write in Turkish and Persian language. When Akbar appointed Abul Fazl to write a history of his kingdom, his requested him into the task related from court writers Abul Fazl. His aunt Gulbadan to record her memories of previous age so that Abul Fazl could complete his task. No praise of Mughal kings was written by Gulbadan. She described the disputes and tensions among the princes and the kings and what role was played by elderly women of the family played to solve them. The political and diplomatic relations between the Mughal kings and the neighboring countries of Iran and Turan. The frontier defined by the Hindu Kush mountains and separated Afghanistan from the regions of Iran and Central Asia. A constant aim of Mughal policy was to ward off this potential danger by controlling strategic outposts. The fortress town Kandahar had initially been in the possession of Humayun, reconquered in 1595 by Akbar. The Safavi courts retained diplomatic relations with the Mughals. It continued to stake claims to Kandahar. Jahangir sent a diplomatic envoy to the court of Shah Abbas in 1613 to plead the Mughal case for retaining Kandahar. The mission has failed to achieve its objectives. Persian army besieged Kandahar in 1622. The Mughal garrison was defeated and had to surrender the fortress and the city of the Safavis. The relationship between the Mughals and the Ottomans ensured free movement for merchants and pilgrims in the territories under Ottoman control. This was especially true for the Hejaz, that part of Ottoman Arabia where the important pilgrim center of Mecca and Medina were located. The Mughal emperor combined religion and commerce by the exporting essential goods to Aden and Mocha and distributing the proceeds of the sales in charity to the keepers of shrines and religious men there. Europeans received knowledge about India through the accounts of Jesuit missionaries, travelers, merchants, and diplomats. After the discovery of sea routes of India, the Portuguese merchants set up their trading network station in coastal regions. The Portuguese was also interested in the spread of Christianity with the help of the missionaries of the Society of Jesuits. The Christian missions who were sent to India during the 16th century were part of this process of trade and empire building. The first Jesuit mission reached to the court of Mughal Emperor Akbar at Fatehpur Sikri in 1518 and stayed here for about 2 years. The Jesuits spoke to the Akbar about Christianity and debated its virtue with the ulema. 2 more missions were sent to the Mughal court at Lahore in 1591 and 1595. The Jesuit accounts are based on personal observation and shed light on the character and mind of the emperor. At public assemblies, the Jesuits were assigned places in close proximity to Akbar's throne. So, dear student, today you know about the basic features related from the imperial household and neighboring countries related relations with Mughals.